A 40-year-old dude with an 18-year-old chick. Society will try to tell you that is creepy. I, however, completely disagree. My name is Stirling. I'm an award-winning adult film star, a former high-class male companion, and I'm here to help you improve your sex life. Now, everybody is familiar with Leonardo DiCaprio's age limit for his girlfriends. The moment they hit 25, he kicks them to the curb and replaces them with a new one. I personally love Leo for having this standard, and I think more men should have that standard as well. But I want to start off this video by telling you a more personal, unique story about age gap differences between men and women. And that story begins with my granddad. You see, when my granddad was about 12 years old, he lived on what was his family farm. And the neighbors across the road from him had just given birth to a brand new baby daughter. So my 12-year-old granddad at the time, he hopped on his horse and he rode across the road, across the river. There was a flood at the time, actually, when my dad has told me the story. There was a flood separating the two farms. And he rode across to see the newborn baby girl. Funnily enough, about 20 years later, he would end up marrying that very same girl. My granddad saw his future wife, my grandmother, being born. That was a 12-year age gap between the two of them. Now, obviously, he had girlfriends and things before he ended up marrying my grandmother. Obviously, they didn't do anything until she was of age, until she was, a mature woman. But that's a 12-year age gap. That's not insignificant. And if you look back on the history of humanity, if you look back through the ages and you see, lots of famous historical figures, lots of successful men, they all had younger brides, younger wives, quite significantly younger than they were. This age gap was a totally normal thing for the longest periods of human history, until suddenly today we think it's kind of weird for an older man to date a younger woman. These days, that age gap is seen and is portrayed as being quote-unquote creepy. And this, my friends, is purely a psychological manipulation tool used against men. I'll be with girls who are 18, 19, 20, 21, and I'll absolutely rock their world in the bedroom because I have a whole bunch of experience and tools in my toolkit, tricks up my sleeve that younger guys absolutely don't have. If you want to learn some of these tricks up my sleeve, then you're welcome to check them out in my video course right here. Why is this standard? Why is this age gap actually a totally normal thing? Well, why was it a totally normal thing for most of human existence? Well, for the simple reason that it takes men time to become valuable, to become a high-value man, to become an attractive man, to become a man worth marrying, to become a suitor for a young, beautiful woman. And when a man is at his highest level of value, when he's accumulated resources, accumulated, wealth, status, a network, social intelligence, and has his physique under control, like he's learned to master his own body, well, then he's at his peak. And a woman is at a peak fertility and peak attractiveness at the ages of 18, 19, 20, 21. So these two align with each other at their attractive peaks. Men have to create their value in the world before they can be attractive to a woman. And this takes time. It can take years. Our ancestors understood that younger women were more fertile, which meant they're more likely to give birth to healthy kids, and they've got a longer time span with which to conceive those kids, because menopause is a real thing that happens. At a certain point, women can no longer reproduce, and the older that women get, the harder it is for them to conceive, and the more complications there are likely to be during childbirth, or with the baby's health in general. See, our ancestors knew this, but today with modern medicine and things like that, it makes those complications and those health concerns not as detrimental to a child as it once was. But that doesn't actually change our innate biology. Now, when I'm talking about older men dating younger women, obviously I'm talking about consenting adults. I'm not talking about anything freaking illegal here. Don't be a complete retard and assume that that's what I'm talking about. Obviously I'm not. If you think that, then you're a complete lunatic. And older women will try to use that as a shaming tactic on older men. They'll try to make out that this age gap between an older man and a younger woman is creepy and pedophilic, purely because it's their only means of competing. Ugly, it's always ugly feminist women who say this shit too. They have no other way of competing in the sexual marketplace with men that they actually want as suitors, older, successful men. So the only way they can compete is by trying to disqualify their competition. And they disqualify their competition by trying to frame dudes who date younger women as being creepy. Also, you'll notice that simpy white knight dudes will go along with this narrative purely to try and curry favor with these middle-aged women so they can get even the smallest, slightest scrap of pussy. Now, an important part of being able to be the kind of man who can attract and maintain younger women is keeping your testosterone levels on point. So if you'd like to learn some tricks and tactics for boosting your T levels, then I highly suggest you check out this playlist right here.